everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tom Sox Conversations. Today, I'm here with one of your former 2016 Tom Sox, who also played at Vanderbilt and is now signed with the Royals, AJ Franklin. AJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Good. Thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah,
I know a lot's going on. So, how's quarantine kind of been treating you? Like just being in quarantine and being with the Royals and everything?
It's been different, that's for sure. It's been so weird because I'm so used to being so busy all the time and being on a schedule all the time, and like going from having basically my whole day planned to having to stay in and try to stay healthy. It's been a lot different, that's for sure. But fortunately, I've got land that I've been able to throw on and stuff. And in Tennessee, it wasn't too bad. It's starting to come back a little bit in Nashville, but it wasn't as bad as some of the other states. So I was able to get out at least a little bit, and kind of be somewhat normal. But I've been able to do a lot because one of my friends has a weight room in his garage, and he lives right near me. So I was able to lift there and get my throwing in at my house. It was definitely a lot different, but I was still able to get done what I needed to get done to stay in shape.
What's been a hobby that you've been able to do that you typically wouldn't have been able to do because of baseball at this time?
I've been able to go to pools and swim at people's houses and stuff. Been able to do anything I would want to do during the summer that I've never been able to do. Like I was able to go to the beach one time, and like stuff like that. Just I've never really done during the summer. It's just been so weird. Like I've been able to do home projects, things like that. And then just the fact that I'm actually at home is just another like weird thing that was so much different. And like I've never had a summer where I could like just kind of wake up and be like, I don't want to say like a normal kid, but like, or like a normal person, but like it
really is.
It really is though. Cause I'm so used to being on the road all the time. So being able to do this is just so much different, but, it's been cool. Obviously I miss playing, but it has been cool to get somewhat of a little taste of like a normal summer. But I again, it's so much different to not be playing. It's been weird. That's for sure.
We all need a little break every now and then, whether or not this is the circumstances or not. But okay, so I know it's been since 2016, but tell us a little bit about what your summer was like in Charlottesville.
Well, it was awesome. So, a lot of summer ball depends on your host family and then how your teams run.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have had a better combo of the two in Charlottesville. And, my host family, the Pompeos, they were incredible. Right from the get go, we got along well. I didn't even know them at all. And then I get there and it was like, felt like they were my other parents, so I got along with them really well. And then their son, Lucas, and their daughter, Allie, we were really close. Especially Lucas, because he was only a couple years younger than me because I was a freshman in college. And I think he was a junior in high school. So we weren't too far apart. So we got along really well. And we still stay in touch today.
Awesome.
But it's definitely a lot of that depends on your host family. And then the way the organizations run, Jeff Burton does an incredible job. He stays in communication with me still. And even the coaches I had at the time, we've stayed in touch a little bit. And then Greg Allen, he's awesome in Vandy grad. Again, I still have very vivid memories of that whole summer just because the people I was with was awesome. And then the team we had, it was great. And then even the lady I worked for a lady who did landscaping for in the area. I remember things like that, and sure, yeah, we remember the baseball part of it, but I remember things that, with the people there that you wouldn't expect to remember, I had such good relationships with everybody. That's what I miss. It was awesome.
And you had redshirted at Vanderbilt the season before. So what was it kind of like going into the summer and really facing your first collegiate batter?
Yeah, so that was very weird because that was the first time in my life, I hadn't played during the regular season. And so I ended up and I felt good. I mean, I had been pitching, I've been doing bullpens and stuff, and then I end up getting to start opening day. And the first batter I faced, the first pitch, I hit him right in the shoulder. It was a lefty, and like me being left-handed, I hit him right in the shoulder, like first pitch. So I was like, all right, well, there we go. Started off right away. But I mean, it was different. I mean, and I struggled a bit at first because I mean, my command was off. Like I was not throwing strikes. Because I guess I'd gone for so many months, like without facing hitters, and then finally just hopping right into it. So it was different. That was one of the weirdest things I've had to deal with. But I mean, it paid off. It got me, I was a lot stronger, was throwing a lot harder. It was what I needed to do. But it was definitely a weird feeling going from, facing hitters like crazy to just a few months not facing a single hitter to, all right, you're back in the game. So it was just different.
Were you surprised when you got the start in the first game that summer?
oh yeah. Yeah. Very surprised. To be honest, I mean, I was obviously grateful and wanted to do it, but I was a little bit like, really? Like I haven't thrown and, but I was like, okay, well, let's do it. So, I did what I could to prepare. I think I threw okay that night. I gave up a few runs, but, outside of the hit batter on the first pitch and a couple of things, I mean, it went pretty well. So it was good.
Good. So how did the summer kind of help you transition into your next season at Vanderbilt? Going into that year, what did you kind of learn just from playing over the summer and getting that start and everything else?
Well, it helped me. I mean, I was still young at the time, so I mean, it helped me to really learn how much like your mind is a big part of the game, like how being confident can help you. Because when I struggled, I mean, I struggled early on in that summer, so like my confidence was low. I mean, baseball wise, it was one of the lowest it had been. Because I mean, I was not pitching well at all at some points, and like there would be times I would pitch really well, and then it was just inconsistent. So I mean, I learned, and then later on the summer is when I started to really feel it and get back in the groove. Felt like I was me again. But I mean, it just helped me learn that it's all about between the ears and how much of your mindset can determine so much. And I mean, that's helped me from that point to now. Still, like it's just so much about confidence and believing in yourself. Because my confidence got down, and that's in anything in life, not just sports. If your confidence gets down, you struggle. So it's all about just believing in yourself and knowing how to move forward and the baseball and out, next pitch kind of thing. Live right then, as opposed to dwelling on, what, if you've struggled a little bit, stuff like that. Just kind of continue to be confident and move forward.
Was there any one person that you played with over the summer that kind of helped you, building your pitching confidence and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it wasn't necessarily one person, but I do know of a few people I threw with, Jack Weiler, or not Weiler, what's his last name? Jack. He went to VCU, but he was one of my throwing partners, and he was really. We were both like we would pinball off each other a lot because we threw together every day. I forget his last name. I normally remember it, and I just completely blanked on it, and that's my bad, Jack, if you're listening. And then another guy, Matt Sullivan, who went to Lenore Ryan, which is like a D3. I think it's in Virginia. And we would throw some together too. And he had a really good summer. He was doing really well. So, I mean, we would talk like crazy, and I'm kind of nerdy with baseball. And like, I mean, I'll sit there and talk about it for a long time. So like I would talk to the guys about it all the time, figure out, all right, what, how you throwing this pitch kind of thing. So those two guys, especially, and then, I mean, just the coaches as well. I mean, they helped me a lot too. So it just depended, I mean, really who I was talking to, but I mean, I got along with everybody that summer. So, and then one of my catchers, Jake Allen, he would catch me some, and like, he would help me a lot too. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily like one person specific, but like those three helped me a lot. And then a few other guys like Matt Olson, he went to Richmond. He helped me some. Just guys like that. I mean, basically it was just getting comfortable with the guys too. I mean, once you learn to get to know everybody, then it makes it a lot easier.
What was your best memory from playing with them?
Ooh,
anything. It doesn't matter.
Let's let's see. It's probably like some of the bus rides we had. We play like Mafia. I don't know if y'all
I've gotten
heard
that
that
answer.
game.
I have
Yeah,
gotten that answer.
we would play that a lot. Some of the longer bus rides, that was fun. And again, for me, like it was just, I mean, just all the relationships. I mean, it's crazy how in summer ball, like you'll see these guys for a couple months and like become really tight with them, and like you just don't, like I haven't seen a lot of those guys again since.
Yeah.
So it's just the relationship part of it is big. That was fun for me. I mean, and again, like I don't remember some games, but like I don't remember specifics about a lot of games. But I do remember like, you know, hanging out with everybody. You know, like I remember those things stick a little bit different. It's just it's a different thing. I don't know. It's just part
That's
of.
been a common theme, though. That's been a common theme with everybody. Like it hasn't really been about the baseball aspect, which, you know, that's why y'all are there. But it's been more about, you know, this is now one of my really good friends that I still talk to this day. You know, just the people. I think that's what I've gotten out of asking that question,
right?
Which is cool. Which is a really cool thing,
right?
So, and I also know that it was a really impactful summer for you off the field as well, with losing one of your Vanderbilt teammates. How was dealing with that, being in Charlottesville, not really being in Tennessee and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean that was very weird. That was one of the hardest things I've had to deal with. So I remember this very vividly. I mean, I was sitting with a few guys. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings. It had been raining, and I don't remember if there was a day off or something, but I know it was raining and we weren't playing that day. And so we're like eating, and then I noticed in our actually my phone had messed up that day or something. The iCloud had screwed up, and I had lost like a bunch of contacts. So I was trying to get all my contacts back just kind of randomly. I was like, I don't know if I'll need these, but you know, just in case. So I was like texting people to send me numbers, and this is before I'd heard anything. And then I noticed our group me is like kind of acting different. Like I could tell people were like a little on edge about things. I was like, what's going on? So I texted my roommate. I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Like something seems weird. And he's like, I don't know. Like I'm trying to figure it out too. And then like 30 minutes later, he calls me and tells me, he's like, hey, like Donnie's just drowned, you know? And I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? You know, I'm kind of just, I didn't really believe it. I'm kind of just like, all right, well, maybe he just like is lost somewhere and, you know, like went out, cause he was outdoorsy, you know, I'm like, maybe he's out in the woods somewhere and something like that. They just think I don't know, but I didn't think it was real. That's for sure. But then then one of our baseball ops guy calls me and he tells me too. And I was like, God, I mean, I guess it is real. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. So I'm just sitting there shocked. I was 19 at the time. And, I remember I called my parents and I'm like, hey, I don't really know. Like, I was like, I don't really know the details, but apparently apparently Donnie just drowned. I'm just like, what? Like, you know, they're freaking out too. And I'm just like, I don't know what, like, I have no clue what's going on. I don't know what to say or expect. Like, cause I mean, it's seriously, I was still just like in shock because it just didn't feel right. And then I go tell my host family and the same thing. I'm just kind of like, still not really believing it. But then I tried to sleep that night. And then when I tried to, you know, whatever, I tried to sleep and figure out something, you know, like what, and I wake up the next morning. That's when it, like, I start seeing it in the media and everything. I was like, well, I guess it is true. Like, that's when it really hit me like hard, was when I started seeing it, you know, publicized and things like that. And I was like, oh man, this is definitely real. But that morning, I mean, I got everything set up and I flew back home and, you know, I was back there with them. And the crazy thing was, like, cause we were getting ready to play a regional. Since I redshirted that year, I had already come to summer ball, but I mean, the team was still playing, getting ready for a regional, and, we're supposed to play the next day. So, I mean, it's like, how does anyone play with that? And obviously, I mean, we struggled on the field. That was the first time we didn't make it to a super regional in however many years. And then we've been back since, but, it was just, yeah, I mean, shocking. I mean, that's the one word I can say for sure. And I definitely was not believing it at first, because I was just like, all right, man, something's not right. Like well, I don't know. But then I start seeing it in the media again, and it sits in, and it hits different. That's for sure. Um, but that ultimately is what drew our team, especially our class at Vandy. I mean, we got so close because of that. And then you get like what we had last year with, I mean, we're all best friends, and it was like full circle, like our class, a lot of guys turned down the draft to stay because we wanted to win. And then last year we ended up winning it all. And it was literally just like full circle, Donnie's parents are out there with us. So, I mean, it was definitely it was definitely heartwarming. I mean, it was just something you can't write it, And then
Yeah.
one of the like the first game we won in the national championship, we won 4-1, and his number was 41. It's like, how do you can't make that up. So that's just stuff like that, but it was definitely life changing. It kind of brings you in and makes you like think about things a little bit,
God definitely works in mysterious ways, and things happen
Absolutely.
that really puts life into perspective,
Right.
and sometimes it's kind of like, it's not great to be in the public eye when things like that happen, because to you, it's like, it means a little bit more than somebody reading it, on social media or seeing it on the news. But things always end up coming full circle. Like you said, we might not understand why, but,
Right.
always does. So what was it like winning a national championship with Vanderbilt?
That was
What was that experience like in Omaha?
Yeah.
Like,
that was incredible. It was crazy. It just, again, it goes back to like the full circle thing. I mean, like we had been so close. Like the year before, we lost to Mississippi State in the Super Regional. So, I mean, that one really hit us because we're like, that's one of our SEC rivals. They beat us at home to get to Omaha. So that stung. I mean, the whole year, we try not to live on what's happened in the past, but everybody remembers that. And we're sitting there thinking, that's not going to happen this year. And then we get, obviously we had a lot of talent this year, but you get that plus like the team that we had, like how close we were. Like, I mean, all of us were best friends. There was no cliques. Everybody got along well. I mean, you get that chemistry plus the talent we had, and then you get what we had last year, which was 59 wins, and we won the SEC regular season, then the tournament, and then we host our regional, then super regional, win those, and then get to Omaha. I mean, there's nothing like Omaha. Omaha is like, it's like a playground, for us as baseball players. You go there and you have fun and play, and it's just so much fun, especially. And then we played. So I mean, that's where the best are, and you get to play in one of the coolest stadium for college baseball. That's for sure. It was just cool because I had been in 2010, the last year at the old stadium. I went as like a fan, and to be able to come back as a player, 9 years later, that was pretty awesome. And it was actually cool because that weekend, it was like right before we started our tournament, the Royals and the Tigers were doing they did like a small game there, or like they did a game there, but it was like obviously like a smaller scale with the stadium. But they played a major league game there, and it was just funny because like, the week before I just got drafted by them, and they actually are playing there that week. So it was pretty cool to see that for sure. But again, like with Omaha, I mean, there's nothing more fun as a baseball player that you can do. I mean, until I win a World Series in the major leagues, I won't know. But I mean, that was definitely the most fun thing as a player I've ever done. It's just all baseball, and everybody there's so friendly. I mean, it was a great experience. Seeing all the kids and all the fans that warm up to you, and like you get to know them because you see them around. So it's pretty awesome, pretty special.
I feel like Omaha is just every little baseball boy's dream. And I've experienced it as a fan. So, I know that atmosphere, there's nothing like it. As a baseball fan, that's it. On top of like the World Series, like you said, like on top of, that.
Yeah.
But hearing it from a player's point of view, that's special. That's really special.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely when you get on the field, like again, and even when we're on the field, we're still fans. We're still watching as fans, and then, but actually being able to take BP on the field, because I was 10 years ago I was the kid in the bleachers trying to get the home run balls and BP and stuff like that, and talking to players, and then to be able to like have that role reversed, and I think that helps me too, because like it makes it easier. Because sometimes, it might be a lot to have to sit there with 100 kids and, sign autographs and talk to them and keep them busy. But then I'm thinking, well, that was me 10 years ago. So it's like, why not do something good for them? So it's definitely fun to be on the field and be able to, instead of being looking out in, like kind of looking out on the fans, I guess you could say. Definitely. Just again, and the people there are so nice. So like, they're all baseball fans. So like, you can get along with anybody there, and you just chat with them.
Everybody's there for the same reason.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what makes it so awesome.
Yeah.
But talking about every little boy's dream. So what was it like signing with the Royals? That moment.
That was special. And that's another thing too. Like, for a while, like, because I didn't pitch much my first 2 years at really the first 3 years I didn't really pitch at all, and I when I tore my ACL my second year, that's when I kind of doubted. I was like, man, like sophomore year is a big year for people getting drafted, or not getting drafted, but getting looked at to get drafted the next year. So I was like, this is tough. Like, what's going to happen? Like, nobody knows who I am. Like, am I going to be able to even play pro ball now? And then. But I locked in my rehab and did everything. I got back quicker than I was supposed to and things like that. So I was driven, like I had the one night I actually tore it. That was when I sulked a little bit and you kind of got sad, but then like right away the next day, it's like, all right, we're starting to move back on to see what we can do here. And then junior year, I didn't pitch a whole lot, pitched like 2 2/3 innings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I doubted myself a lot there. But then I got to that summer ball and it did really well. And that's when I got my confidence back up. And I really started to focus in. I was like, hey, like at this point, whatever happens. Let's go all out. And, hopefully I can do what I can do to get drafted and go from there. We'll see. But that fall, I got stronger. I started throwing harder. And I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. Like, and I had a couple of teams that wanted to meet with me in the fall meetings and stuff, and once I got that was like very assuring. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And then we get through the season, I started again, back to the confidence thing. I started pitching well, and my confidence was high. Like, I was throwing hard, felt good. And then more teams start reaching out, as we're getting towards that time. I'm starting to talk more with guys, and then the Royals reached out. That was one of the first guys I talked to. And I'd actually played on their scout team in high school my senior year. So I knew who the scout was that called me about stuff. So that was pretty cool. It was just funny because, Royals was the team. I talked to them a little bit, but not really that much. Yeah. Like, I talked to the Marlins a lot. Like, I talked to a few other teams a whole lot more. But then the Royals call, and I was like, and they were like, hey, we're going to take you today. And I'm like, all right. Like, and it was like 8:30, I get a call, and it was Kansas City. And I was like, I should probably take this, cause it was like early in the morning, well, early for that day. And, I was like, I guess I need to take this. So I call it, or I answer it, and it's the head director of scouting, and, pretty awesome. I wouldn't want to be with any other organization, because when the way they do things is just, they do it right. I'm very grateful, because it's very like Vanderbilt, and like the relationship part of it. There's so much about us as men, not just like we're not just players and like pawns in their system. We're like actually people, and they do a great deal of stuff with that. So I'm very fortunate there. But it's funny, like, because the day of the draft, or the day I was getting drafted, we're getting ready to play. Like, we had like a practice that day, because we had the super regional coming up the day after, I think, or 2 days before. And I was like, I forget, it was pretty early. And we were all go to the field, and a lot of guys we're expected to get drafted that day. So we get to the field and like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, when can I shower? Cause I might get this call any minute. So I wait like 20 minutes and I'm sitting there. And I'm texting with, my agent or whatever for a little bit. And he's texting me back and forth like, hey, they're probably going to take you here, here. So I'm like, okay, I'll try to at this time, be whatever. But I was like, I have to shower. Like I got to eat something. I got to get ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I put nobody calls for a minute. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go hop in the shower real quick. So I put it down for 5 minutes, like hop in real quick. And as I'm getting out of the shower, that's when they're calling me. So I'm just like sitting there in a towel. That's when I get the call. That was something I'll never forget. That was pretty funny. Like I'm just sitting there in my towel, like, and that's when they're calling me about like saying, hey, we just drafted you, So like it was pretty funny, but definitely, a dream come true. I mean, that's what everything I've been doing in life, my parents have been doing for me, and all my coaches around me, preparing me for that moment to get me ready. So it's paid off. That's for sure. And whenever, you start to wonder, why am I doing this? Like why are y'all being so difficult on me? Like I look back on it, I'm like, well, it's paid off. Cause everything my parents were doing had a reason. So, and you start to see that as I get older and a little bit wiser, you start to realize that.
It's so awesome to hear and see like your path and everybody's individual path, because nobody goes through the same thing to get to that point. Or because everybody just sees like, MLB drafts on TV, they see the phone call, they'll see pictures of you guys signing, or just the outside surface. They never really see what goes in to that day. And, it's really unique to hear from you guys, what you go through, how it's not always been perfect, but it ends up what you always dreamed of. Mm-hmm. I think that's the great thing.
Absolutely. Everybody's got their own journey that's going to determine, again, I like we were talking about, everything happens for a reason. It doesn't matter who you are. You got your path. Just stick with it and things will work out, and again, it is cool to see like some people you would never think that get drafted. Some people that you think are going to be big prospects that don't get drafted. It's just, you never know. Like, and then once you get to that point, yeah, like you said, there's so many different backgrounds of when and how they get there and things like that, which is very cool.
Yes. And y'all, it's great. So some fun questions to kind of wrap up everything for you.
Yeah.
So growing up, what was your favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball? Probably The Natural. Yeah, The Natural.
Is it still that? Is it still your favorite, or has it changed?
It is. Yeah. It's one of them. My dad loved it, so I watched it a lot, and I loved it. It was actually Roy Hobbs in the movie is number 9, and that was my baseball number was always 9 because of him. Like, since I was 7 or 8, I've always been number 9. And then I get to college and I got 49. We didn't get to pick, but like I got 49. So I've always had a 9 in my number. So because of that movie, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, who was your favorite player growing up?
I didn't necessarily. I didn't have a favorite player per se. I just loved baseball. Like I didn't have that one player I was like obsessed with, but I did like Randy Johnson, big left-handed pitcher back in the day. I loved him. Like Ken Griffey Jr. I was a big fan of him. But I didn't have like that one, like, this is my guy. I had like a few, so, those two I remember specifically being big for me. And then I just liked to watch, I was a huge baseball fan from the beginning. So just anybody that was good, I guess you could say.
And you play with the Royals now, but who was your favorite team growing up?
I was a Cincinnati Reds fan. And I probably shouldn't show this, but my wall still has this up here of their stadium.
That's pretty awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, I keep it there for baseball purposes. There's nothing about the Reds or against the team now, because on my other wall I got my Royals jerseys over there. So we're still Royals people. But yeah, I was a Reds fan. My dad was a diehard Pete Rose fan. So I grew up watching them and rooting for them. But yeah.
Okay. If you could play any other position, what would it be?
Center field, most likely. Yeah. Cause, I love to hit, and, I played it in high school. And, I like hitting. I'll still swing some. Like I'll take BP some just because it's fun. And so, yeah, because I can hit it a lot stronger now, so I can hit a little bit farther than I did in high school. So it's a little fun. Yeah, I'd say center field because you can. I'm pretty fast too, so like I can run and from the outfield you can show your arm off a little bit, so it's fun to do that.
All right, last question. If you could play any other sport, what would you choose?
Probably basketball, just because. Okay. I mean, I'm not 6'11" and super tall or whatever, but basketball is fun. I mean, I've always enjoyed that. I can go out and shoot at any moment, and I still enjoy it. Like I'll go out and shoot all the time. It's a lot of fun.
You said you were fast, so you might not be tall, but you got something for it.
Yeah, I got. So I mean that helps too. You gotta be a little bit of better ball handler at my height, I guess. But yeah, it was fun. I could do something with 6'1", I guess, but just put a little bit more work into it. But yeah, definitely basketball. I mean, I've always enjoyed going to the gym and shooting and playing. And I played football and basketball too in high school. But basketball was the one I enjoyed a little bit more. Was a little better at, I guess. So it was fun.
Okay, well, that was my last question. Thank you for your time today, AJ, and answering everything and going in depth about Vanderbilt, the Tom Sox, the Royals, even your basketball career.
Yeah, awesome. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it. I'm getting a lot of nostalgia here, like thinking about all this stuff. But I really appreciate y'all. This was really fun.
Thank you I know you're busy, so thank you again for your time.
Absolutely.
And everyone, make sure to follow the Tom Sox on social media and Valley Baseball.